the President of the Fiji Muslim League, Mr. Hafiz Khan, the Chairman for the Makoi Vocational Centre, Mr. Bashir, the Vice President for the Fiji Muslim League, Mr. Nisar Ali. I understand we also have representatives from the Fiji Higher Education Commission and the APTC. The ladies who are graduating today, gentlemen, in support of your loved ones, children, friends, ladies and gentlemen, I'd also like to acknowledge the staff of the Makoi Vocational Centre. It's always a huge delight for me to be here on this special occasion for the Makoi Vocational Centre. And I'm grateful for the invitation to be here again to mark a very special occasion. I've seen this center grow year after year, diversifying the types of training that you carry out here. And I understand that today it's another arm that we're going to celebrate, the caregivers course. At the outset, I'd like to thank the Fiji Muslim League for the initiative and also for the invitation to be here today. I congratulate you on the seeing through to the graduation of the 23rd batch of students since the establishment of this institution. That's a huge milestone. I wish to take this time to also thank the Fiji Muslim League on behalf of the Fijian government for the great work in assisting families in the North post-TC Yasa. The power of collective efforts can never be denied, and your contribution is hugely appreciated. The new year has brought with it new hope for a lot of Fijian families, with 2020 bringing many plans, income-generating opportunities, developments, and forms of economic participation to a halt. Progress on human development has also been adversely affected. If the COVID situation wasn't worse enough, we were hit twice by Category 5 cyclones that worsened the situation for many families. But what these difficult times has reinforced in us is that humans will always find a way to survive. All of us together. All of us, including our women. Inclusive and sustainable development around the world, leaving no one behind, is the overarching vision of the UN's 2030 agenda, and also a promise of the Fijian government to the Fijian people. Gender equality and women's economic empowerment are central to the realization of this vision. Yet, gender gaps remain large, pervasive, and persistent. Gender experts anticipate that the effects of COVID-19 on the globe could take progress in the area of gender equality backwards. But let me say this. We ought to make sure that we continue to do our bit for the progress to continue forward, and only forward. The economic empowerment of women is one sure way to not only alleviate poverty, but to help us build back better as a nation post-COVID. The human development, economic, and business gains from empowering women are substantial. Greater gender equality means we as a country would be associated with better education and health, higher per capita income, faster and more inclusive economic growth, and greater international competitiveness. The goal to economically empower Fijian women will mean that we get rid of adverse social norms, discriminatory laws, provide sufficient legal protections, address gender gaps in unpaid household and care work, and address unequal access to digital, financial, and property assets. It is therefore time to address adverse stereotypes and implicit biases in our society, and also to implement women-friendly policies and projects to promote greater economic participation of women in national development. We would see that the Fijian government has shown its commitment to women's development by becoming signatories to international instruments like the Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women and the Beijing Platform for Action, 1995, and over the past decade, raising the budgetary allocation to the national women's machinery under the Ministry of Women, allowing more and quality policies and programs for women's empowerment. This has enabled the Ministry of Women to successfully support institutions like the Makoi Vocational Training Centre. In this fiscal year, we've been able to give $80,000 as a grant to this institution in a time when government had to make numerous adjustments to the budgetary allocation to each ministry, with COVID-19 largely affecting our revenues through tourism. Grants to women's institutions remained. This in itself is proof of government's commitment to women's economic empowerment and the fact that we recognize that women are equal players in nation building, and their economic empowerment and participation is extremely crucial, particularly in times of crisis like now. Our plans to building back and growing our economy will be unsuccessful without the contribution of our women, and every progress such as this to economically empower our women is highly valued. Our support to the center was encouraged by the fact that the Makoi Women's Training Center allows developmental opportunities to the underprivileged and disadvantaged women of our society, including widows, single mothers, women with little or no formal education, women from broken families, and women from all cultural and religious backgrounds. The center has successfully enabled hundreds of women to attain skills and knowledge, to become economically active, some even able to start their own businesses and employing other women. I'm proud to know that a new program has been included in the list of programs run by the institution, namely the Aged Care and Community Care Program. And today, the first batch of students in this program will be graduating. Women's contribution to care work, especially unpaid care work, is massive, yet largely unrecognized. The COVID situation saw the demand of care work grow, and the burden mostly shifting to women. I do hope that care work will be adequately remunerated and recognized with its growing demand. I never get tired of saying this, that when women earn, it benefits the whole family, and as they evidently reinvest most of their earnings into their families. The impact of the work of this center does not stop at the individual woman graduating from here, but rather the lives of everyone attached to her. This fact alone establishes the greatness in the vision and goals of this institute. As Fijians, we are well aware of what government is doing to promote gender equality and equal opportunities for all. We are also quite aware of what civil society is doing in these regards through institutions like the Makoi Vocational Centre, Almana Hope Centre, and Bar Women's Forum Training Center. The gaps that remain require the indulgence of us as individuals in how we help and support the women around us live a life free of discrimination, abuse, and lack of access to opportunities. The responsibility to promote women's equal rights and empowerment lies in all of us. I'm told that women who have previously graduated from this institution are not only working, but also running their own small businesses, and some even creating job opportunities for others. Needless to say, the rippling effect of this initiative is wonderful. I must also thank the families of the women who have been through this institution and those of the women graduating today. I've never seen this room this full in a graduation. And I've been coming here for quite a number of years, and each year there are more people coming in support of the women who are graduating. And I'd like to specifically acknowledge the men who are here today. On behalf of your loved ones, the support that you render, the work, the education of your loved ones here would not be complete without the support of our families, and particularly the male loved ones at home. So I thank you. Thank you for the support that you render to the women in your lives. To the 64 women graduating today, I wish to congratulate you for the successful completion of your programs, and I wish to encourage you to continue on the path of determination and hard work. Work with integrity and openness to learning. Continue to research about the opportunities, the skills that you have now. I know that through the APTC and the Australian government, there are opportunities to put into practice what you're graduating from today. And I'm grateful also to the Australian government, I know they're not here, through the Fijivillage partnership, for the great opportunities that you're creating for caregivers from Fiji to apply that in Australia. And I look forward to the day that I see some of these faces in the newspapers saying you're going for caregiving as well overseas. It's a great skill, but it's a skill that comes with a huge responsibility. It's not only about the money. The skill that you have will require you to render a service to a sector of the Fijian people that need, first and foremost, compassion. When you apply your skill, it's not only about what you've learned in that book that you've been taught. It's the human values that should first and foremost be seen in all of you. Compassion, love and compassion. Caregiving is essentially linked to these two core principles of human life. Under the ministry, we also render this particular service for the elderly, for those living with disabilities, and of course for children. Whatever sector that you render your service in, I ask you to do it with compassion and a lot of love. Congratulations, and I wish you all the best for the career, for the doors that will open up for you. And I thank again the Makoi Vocational Centre, the Fiji Muslim League, for this great opportunity to the ladies who are graduating today.